rolling. Guys, welcome back to another episode of the One Broke Actress podcast, an honest account of actor life plus a few lessons I learned in the process. I'm your host, Sam Valentine, along with my producer, Helena Santos, and we are bringing you a bonus episode, which is once a month where we catch up and talk about our acting lives and our prospective markets, Los Angeles and Vancouver, what's going on since we talked the last month, and we take some of your questions and just generally chat. And this is our May episode. Today is May. What is today? The 6th? 7th. Because time doesn't exist. And hi, Helena. We haven't talked at all in a month.
No. I mean, we've texted a bit and Instagram, but I really love this because it's so much fun to just dive in and find out what's happening in your world. And must I say, you just booked something, which I saw last night.
Yeah,
let's talk about this. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's very exciting because it's the first thing I booked in a minute. And so it feels all of the feelings. It's a co-star on a network show. It's a show that I auditioned for 3 seasons ago of it for something else. It's something I can't wait for it to actually happen so I can share about it. But I took a big swing with a self-tape and it landed.
Nice.
And so I got the call last night. The audition was like a week ago, straight from self-tape to booking.
Perfect. So when you say you took a big swing for people at home, what would that mean to you? I guess maybe in the context of this audition for whatever it is that you can say.
I think when I can share it, when it airs, it will be very obvious. I chose to do a lot of like prop work and like extra stuff. It's a show that has big characters and big set pieces.
Nice.
So I just went for it and I didn't hold back. And I guess casting loved the tape. They thought it was super fun and creative. And it was one of those auditions where you and I have talked about having these before, where you finish it and you're like, God, that was so fun.
Yeah.
Like, and you're completely, of course you want to do the job, but I felt so detached from doing it that I was just like, I had so much fun doing it with my friend Molly, that I was like, didn't really think about anything else. Like,
that's the best part. Cause that's why we're doing this. We're doing this because we love it. And it's something that we enjoy, whether you book the part or not. And it's just so nice when you can be totally in the pocket like that and enjoying the actual experience of acting.
Yes. And I felt that with so many roles lately, and to have one validated feels really good. It's like I said, this first booking with my new reps. I don't know. It feels really exciting and like we're on the right track to something. And there's a lot of things at play here. One that I would love to talk about with you is I am super excited, and like my agency like has an Instagram, they like share pictures, and because of One Broke Actress, people saw it. And I feel like I have so many supportive people in my life who are so excited for me. And the second they're like, oh my God, congrats, it's huge, I want to go, oh, it's just a co-star. Let's talk about making things small that we've worked our asses off for. Cause I think we all do it. And why do we do that?
Wait, I don't even know that we've actually broken this down for people who are younger. I shouldn't say younger. Strike that. People who are newer to the industry. I think I said younger because I know you're working with like students right out of school right now. So that was top of mind for me. But anyone newer to the industry might not understand how difficult it can actually be to book a co-star, say. The levels that you have to go through. So are you cool if we break that down for people for a hot second?
I would love to.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
I don't remember if we've done that yet. So Sam, what happens first in the process? Who has to say yes to you first? Like say you get an audition, what happens? Who watches it first?
My agents and managers.
Okay. And then casting's going to watch it, right? And then if they like it and you're a top choice, it goes to who?
Producers.
Yeah. And at network and studio, right? Not just like, it has to go to both.
Oh yeah, no, I was on hold as the favorite from casting and production, and they had to have network and studio approval.
Right.
Afterwards.
And there might be like 4 people that are going out for approval and who are on a veil or on hold or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even that in itself is a huge deal. Well, first of all, getting the audition out of thousands of people to get an audition is a huge deal. Then getting passed forward into the next round by the casting directors is a huge deal. And then getting, accepted and getting network approval or studio approval, those are a huge deal. And then, I mean, the role might not even stay in the script, which has happened to me a number of times.
Yeah.
Where I've been cast in something and then, oh, just kidding, that role isn't there anymore. Or I was on hold for something where they're like, she's on hold, but we don't know if the role's still going to be there. So she's booked, but not booked,
Right.
So then
right.
you have to get past that point, and then you have to actually shoot. And then you actually have to make the cut.
All of these barriers to entry, and they've all been obstacles that over the past year I have jumped and hit the wall. I was written out of stuff. I was pinned for things that were taken away last minute. I have been cut out of things. I've hit all those walls, and I'm ready to jump and hit them at any point in time. I'm so ready. I love hitting those walls, but they're all such real things that I think should be like highlighted. But like you just said, like that is so cool. Even starting with getting an audition.
Yes. Every the tiny little things to celebrate. That was funny. I felt like I was setting you up to be like, and then what? But I was like, let's do a back and forth banter that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to.
No, I loved it. Also, it felt like I was kind of being quizzed, and I'm like, oh, I hope I know the answers.
I was like, oh wait, I feel bad. I'm not actively trying to quiz you right now.
I like it. I like it. Keep me on my toes.
How can you tell we don't plan these ahead of time?
Right. Totally. This is all off the cuff.
I'm like, wow, Helen is a dick.
Dude, I love it. But also if I said something that was you're like, oh, and also I'm always down to learn. I have new things to learn. But I think you're so right. And this hasn't filmed yet. In fact, it doesn't film for a while. And I'll explain why to you afterwards, but, God, everyone loves that on a podcast when you talk about something and you tell the other person.
We have to. I just signed. Well, okay. I'll.
Yeah. Our life is NDAs. But it feels it. But the second people are congratulating me, I'm getting because my agency shared a picture and all that stuff, and people are very active on social media. I shared it to a story. People are coming out of the woodwork from my acting classes and people who follow One Broke Actress and my family and all of these and my friends from home and all these things are to say congratulations. And I'm like, oh, but they don't understand that they might actually never see this role, and it might not, they don't understand that it's really, really small. But who cares? Yeah.
Well, 100%. It's about celebrating the fact that you're on this journey and it's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
It's a huge accomplishment. Doesn't matter what the size of the role is. And I know it's funny because people who aren't necessarily in the industry, when, you say you book something, whenever I book one of the sort of CW superhero show things, people are like, oh, are you a villain? They automatically assume that you're going to be the villain of the week or whatever.
Yeah, a major plot point. Yeah, totally.
It's well, I'm a nurse, Susie or something. I'm in a couple scenes. Yay. Yay. It's it's something that we have to normalize being excited for every single kind of win and opportunity, because it's so important to validate the work that we're doing. But I totally understand what you mean, that feeling where it's just oh yeah, you feel kind of yeah, it's awesome, but yes, you can't, it's hard to acknowledge it for yourself.
Yes. And taking energy from other people feels very weird to accept the congratulations, to bring it in. But if I stop to think about it, anytime in the last few months, I've worked my butt off to get this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So what? Why do I want to make it small?
It's a larger conversation about minimizing any sort of accomplishment. There's so many things that are associated with that socially and like just in general, we're so used to not taking up space for things that seem, not worthy in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all just need to say thank you. As soon as someone says congratulations, we just need to all get in the practice of saying thank you so much. I worked really hard to get here. Because I think the more that we do that, the more that it empowers other people to be like, yes, I did that. Thank you so much. Thank you. And it'll help me feel cool about whatever I've accomplished, and you feel cool, and all your listeners and just everybody who's on this journey. It's so important that we validate, even just like, I did a really amazing audition. That felt really good. Congratulations. Yes. And then we can say thank you. I think we just need to put that into our beings and our habits as actors.
I am obsessed with that. And I think if we don't start acknowledging it now, when the bigger stuff comes along, when's it going to be enough for us to validate, right? Is it going to be when I get a recurring, when I get a series regular, when I get a big movie? Like, when is it going to be what standard am I setting? And also, every time I book something and then like a few months later, if nothing else has happened, I'm like, God, I wish I would have enjoyed that feeling more. Because my brain instantly goes to, okay, what's next? How do I move on? Like, my actor brain is like, okay, how do I monopolize off of this? How do I And it's like, what if I just had a really nice weekend of being like, everything I'm doing is on the right track and feeling really proud of my accomplishments? What is the worst that could happen if I'm really excited about booking a co-star? Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. Yeah. And I should also say, for the Canadians who are listening right now, we have different billing terminology up here, which might confuse them. So I met a girl on a set a while back, and I was talking about co-star level roles, and she assumed that meant you were like co-starring like a movie, that you were top billing. I was like, oh, let me explain. So I don't know why this happened or why it's like this and why the terminology is different. And I've asked the union before and nobody seems to know. So I don't know what the history of this is. If anybody knows this who's listening, please tell me. But in Canada, we have actor, quote unquote, role, which is basically a co-star. Then we have a principal role, which is like a really big co-star or a small guest star. And then we have recurring, and we have recurring guest star, and we have top of show guest star, which I don't know if I'm not quite sure about the top of show guest star versus another sort of guest star. Like, I'm not entirely sure about that terminology, but as far as co-star and guest star in the States, it's actor and principal. And just like in the States, how you could have a co-star that's like 6 pages because they don't want to pay the guest star rate. That's the same thing as with kind of ish with an actor role. Usually that'll be called a principal. But it all just sort of depends. Like, I did one audition where I put something on tape, and then casting said, oh, there's new sides. This role is no longer a principal. It's being billed as an actor role. So it's no longer a guest star. It's being billed as a co-star. And they literally only took out 4 words. That was it. And I was going, okay, from a producer standpoint, I kind of get it, because maybe they don't have enough money for this role to be at that level or whatever. Maybe but at the same time, it's just like, really? 4 words?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Like, what is the difference? I think that happens all the time too. The difference between our markets is something will come out here as like a guest star or something bigger, and it'll go to a different market, like maybe Vancouver or Atlanta, and cast someone as a lower billing.
Well, also because it's cheaper for them to hire the local hire at a cheaper rate and all of that good stuff.
All money stuff, which you can appreciate because you've done the production side. So I think you have a very clear understanding of that's not about the actor. It's about
not at all
getting your business done.
Yeah. And also, we should go back to your booking and say that if you hadn't have booked this, it doesn't say anything about you necessarily. It's not a personal thing. It's what fits best in the world of the show, and when we were saying about how you could get cut from something, actors, we take so personally. It's like, oh my gosh, it's because I was horrible and they didn't want me in the show. And well, maybe no, like, it could be because a storyline changed. Your character wasn't necessary in that moment. There was time. The show was running over. There, whatever, 42 minutes or whatever it is for, say, network TV, and they had to cut stuff. And the person who said she goes that way or whatever doesn't need to be there. It's extraneous. So it's exactly what you're saying, where we need to just really enjoy it and have fun while we're doing it. and enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Because that's what we work so hard for.
Right. Right. And I don't want to make it small. I want to live it up.
No.
And I don't actually shoot for another 3.5 weeks, which is kind of crazy. So I get to live in this time as like waiting for my booking. And like, but you know what is really cool is that I have really been intentional this year. And I've talked with Amy McNabb because she's been kind of doing some mentor coaching with me from the Actor Mindset podcast about how I've been really intentional about building my life. So I feel like I wake up every day as the working actor I want to be. So regardless of what auditions come up or if a booking comes up, I've spent the past 5 or 6 months thinking, what would my morning look like if I was going to work later today? What kind of things would my day be filled with if I had an acting job this weekend? Like, and that's how I've started to build my life. Granted, I have a lot of privilege in this because I've been able to garner some jobs that do pay a higher hourly rate. So I don't need to work as much. That pivot I've made to podcast producing, I don't need to work 30 hours a week right now. That being said, I feel like being so intentional with what I want and where I'm going and making really, really poignant decisions on how I want my life to look with or without someone else's approval for me to be an actor has set me up to feel extremely confident in my day-to-day life to handle this job. I think this will also involve a lot of body. So like my body image and all of these things that I've been working on nonstop to put myself out into the world as the person I want to be play into this. And I I feel there's a validation in it all that feels like, oh, great. Like there's everything happening here is it's in a really good place. And I booked it and I didn't panic or freak out about like my body or like my time or like, oh, thank God this job is going to take me away from my shitty day job that I like hate, like none of those things happened. And it makes me even more excited for just the day-to-day life that I'm building.
Yes. Love it. Love it. So happy for you.
Thank you.
So happy.
Dude.
The first of many great things.
So we've talked a lot about me for a few minutes and I would like to pivot and talk about you, please. Cause I'm getting really shy.
Stop. I could celebrate you all day long. No, it's interesting that you said that you're not shooting for 3 or 4 weeks because I am in the same position.
Oh, what's going on?
This is interesting. So this is a video game. Okay. I auditioned for this video game in November, and we're in May now, right?
November of 2020?
Yep. So, and like you, I took a really big swing with the character I was auditioning for. It was super specific, and I had this kind of most ridiculous outfit on. I put my hair up into this sort of like French wave short fake situation. Like I was like, this is hilarious and ridiculous. And I'm just going to have fun. And I had a great time and it was great. I totally forgot all about it. Obviously it was in November.
So long ago.
And then, I know, a couple weeks ago, I get the notice that I've booked a role in this video game. They don't know for sure, like it's not the same role I read for. So this is interesting where it was really affirming that they actually did keep all the tapes that they liked of people to find out where they could put them, like if there's another role that comes up. So that was nice to know that, that actually works. And the work that you do can get seen for months.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting because I don't know whether I'm doing mocap, like motion capture, or if I'm doing voiceover. They haven't like fleshed out the role completely yet. All I know is that I have a couple of days and I signed an NDA and I'm like, well, that's fine because I don't know anything about this. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything. So
I am obsessed. This is so great. So wait, so when you auditioned for this, was it a self-tape, like a typical audition?
Yeah, that was the interesting part. It was because I do a lot of like voiceovers, like auditions and like a random voiceover jobs, but they specifically it was for mocap for the thing I read for, with a very specific vocal quality. And they had said, please make sure to record this as if it's a theatrical audition. And
Fun.
it's not something, it wasn't something where I needed to, like, we're not talking mocap. I'm not like throwing spears or anything. It's like
everything I pictured, right? By the way, like fighting big axes.
Yeah, no spears and no axes. But it's like very specific scenes. It's like the scenes between the. How can you tell I'm not a gamer?
I love this. I know your arms are moving a lot. That's all I'm saying.
No one at home can see me. I'm moving my arms. But it was like a scene. It was just, it was like 2 or 3 scenes as if it was shot for, you know, a network TV show. So that's just what I did. So I don't know. Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm shooting sometime in June. So who knows?
Sick. We both have jobs in June.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have something interesting no, it depends on when we record June's episode, but
yeah, that's true.
But isn't that interesting? November. That's a long time.
Were you totally blindsided? Like what was this audition again? Like you must have completely
totally. I had
no
idea what it was. I had to go through because I don't do an audition log per se, but I do have a folder, like an email folder, where I put all of my VO auditions into one folder, and then all of my theatrical into another folder, and all of my commercial into another folder. So I can go through and reference anything or whatever it is that I need to do. Or if there's a callback, I can be like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I'll go look for my tape and find the right outfit or whatever it is. But I had to dig deep to figure out what it was. And I was like, cool, I'll do it. I'm stoked. I will do whatever they want me to do. They want me to mocap, I will motion capture it up. They want me to just do voiceover, I will just do that. I will do anything.
What a treat.
Fun.
Oh, this is going to be so fun. Okay. I'm also consulting our notes right now because I want to make sure that we cover everything.
Oh gosh, I put a whole bunch. Okay, people at home should know we share like an Apple Note thing and to put stuff we want to talk about. And I feel like I added a whole ton of stuff. We have so many things that we've never actually talked about. So we have a lot of
I would like to
content.
Hit on a COVID thing and that you got your first shot.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So this is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how interesting it's gonna be for people at home.
Because when we talked in April, you were really down about Canada's vaccination and it was feeling really slow. And you were like, I don't know when it's going to happen. So what happened? Because it was much faster.
I'm still pretty down. No. Okay. So what happened is the Pfizer and Moderna, super ass slow still. They're starting to pick up. But they released the AstraZeneca shot, which is similar to Johnson & Johnson, like made the same way, but it's a 2-shot thing that they've been, it's from Oxford in the UK, and Canada had bought a bunch. And so they released it to people 55 and older, and then they released it to people 40 and older. So it was like black market operations. I should tell people at home, I'm 40. Ta-da! I said my age on the podcast.
Big
it's all
drop.
over IMDb, thanks to somebody who put my age up. So I had to just own it.
That's rude. And also nobody cares because you look 25.
Thank you. I'm half Filipino, so that helps, I think. But we should talk about Erica Bream's post about age, actually. Anyways, going back to COVID. So they released it to people 40 and up. So there were like, I think maybe 200,000 or something like that vaccines in British Columbia that you could get. And I was on like 3 different wait lists. You had to then basically go to there's a Discord channel, which is sort of like I don't know, like a Reddit channel type thing. And people were posting random pharmacies that had open slots that you then had to try to book into. So I got myself and 5 other people like appointments, just looking around being like, go here. Like it was so intensely hard to find a spot. So I was just like, okay, screw it. I'm going and getting it. There's like very, 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 very rare chance of side effects like the Johnson & Johnson, right? But I was like, you know what? It's better to have some protection than none right now. But the thing with BC is that we have no idea when we can get a second vaccination still. There's just nobody knows anything. And now they're starting to get more Pfizer in. So I'm like, well, I could have waited for Pfizer had I known, but whatever. I'm partially vaccinated. I feel happy about that. I feel some sense of relief, but it's it's just a little bit of a I swear a lot about it.
So
But
are you going to have to fight for your second appointment as well? How does that work?
I don't know. No one knows. Nobody
They
knows
gave you no information about your second shot?
because we don't know. We don't know when we're getting supply. So, and now they're looking into stuff in the UK where they're seeing if people who got the AstraZeneca as their first shot can actually get a Pfizer or Moderna. Wait, AstraZeneca as their first. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking to see whether they can get their Pfizer or Moderna as the second shot. And they're doing all these studies to see if that's actually a good option because there's less supply. But who knows? I don't know.
If you can
We're
just get a
living
big
through a
mix.
weird ass pandemic. I know. I'm like, we're gonna have bionic arms by the time this is all over.
I'm into it. I'm completely down. I'll take all the shots. I'm not someone who takes any medications, but like I've taken birth control, so I have the same amount of likelihood of being hurt by any of these shots as that. So I'm super glad you got one. That's probably really frustrating to wait. Was Barry able to get one? That's her husband.
Yeah. Well, he's 18 years older than me. So he went in the first round of life shot situation. But yeah, hopefully we're going to get some sense of normalcy like the States is starting to get. I feel hopeful. And I also feel excited about, just having that extra level of protection being on set, even because I really don't go anywhere. I just pick up groceries and that's about it. And then go to set when I book stuff. But just having that little peace of mind is nice. So
100%. I think it changes how people are showing up in the world. I mean, it's because so many people are vaccinated here and in my current circle, I have like dinner plans twice this weekend and a book club. We're going to meet in a park and
I love it.
Share food. And like, it's very jarring to have stuff on your schedule. A part of me is like, I'm so excited. I'm going to like my friend who's having a really small, like outdoor birthday dinner tonight at his house was like, it's very casual. And I was like, if you think I am wearing casual clothes after this last year, you have another thing coming. I'm doing makeup. I'm doing it because I missed it and I'm really excited. But it is also at the same time to have stuff on a schedule. It's like, should I be writing down all the people I'm seeing?
Oh, sure.
Because I'm only seeing, who knows? And I'm only seeing fully vaccinated people. And still, because also it's LA and we're turning into summer, it's still 90% outdoors.
Right.
But it's still weird. I'm going home next weekend to see my parents for the first time in a long time. My whole family is going to be home together for the first time in 2 years.
Wow.
Because they're all fully vaccinated. It makes me want to cry just saying that out loud.
I know.
And the fact that I booked something that doesn't interrupt with it is just, it feels like everything's happening, but it's a weird adjustment. And I think we're going to probably hear a lot about it over the next couple of months as people do that.
Especially not letting our guards down too, because it's all these variants that are really scary. And, you see what's happening in India, and mind you, obviously the vaccinations aren't happening there. But it still goes to show that we can't just pretend like it's not a thing. It's who knows. If anything goes to show the fact that we don't know what's around the next corner, I have to say that that's 2020 and 2021 in a nutshell.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's why I'm super happy that a lot of places are still, I'm happy that our union is doubling up on their, doubling down on the COVID protections. Like they're still having people get tested, still doing all they can for sets. I believe it altered too for theatrical bookings that now you have to get tested every other day or every 2 days or something like that.
Wasn't that the case already?
It was every 3 days.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they're actually doing it more. Oh,
so I believe it's being updated to that. Don't take my word on this. Always do your own research. But my friend who's a producer let me know she's has to do a lot more testing because of it. And I'm fine with that because of the fact that people are starting to venture out. It's been such it's just such a trip. Not needing to wear masks outside to like walk my dogs. Like I the first day I did it, I cried. Because I go on 5 or 6 walks a day and I live on such busy streets in West Hollywood that there's never a moment where I don't pass someone. So I've worn a mask to walk my dogs nonstop, and to not do it, it feels like I'm leaving the house without my keys.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's a trip. I am interested to see how we come back into a world of post-COVID and how it changes our socialization.
Yeah. And I don't think, well, at least in Canada, we're not going to be in that world for quite some time still. Yeah. Like it's going to take a hot second. I think in LA, you're like
Sam, you can fuck off right now.
No. I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. Like I honestly, I can't even see a world of post-COVID right now in sort of my view of what's ahead for the rest of the year. Like I usually come and visit LA 3 times a year. I don't even think I'm really not foreseeing getting down there until next year at all for a visit. It's just, there's just too many things that are messed up. Although, hey, if I somehow randomly booked a job that shot in LA, I would be down there in a heartbeat, and then I would quarantine my butt off in Canada, and I would do anything that they make me do to come back into the country. But
I mean, by the time you come down here for whatever job you're going to book, which we're putting out into the universe right now, we're just going to give shots for free at the airport. So like maybe you could just get one, get like 5. You know what? I'll take one of each. I don't, it's like when you go to a bar when you're 21 and they're like, what do you drink? And you're like, yes.
Yes. All of it's, what are they called? Like adios motherfuckers. And you just like put everything in.
Or like a Long Island iced tea. That's like just a pour of every.
Just all
God. I used to waitress at Houlihan's and we made those Long Islands. They were just like, it was like 30 ounces of just booze and they were like $6.
Oh man.
I know, we're old because we're cringing with how awful that's. Oh my God. This was really good. Should we close out here and take some Q&As for our episode later this week?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. So guys, this is where we'll wrap this bonus episode, but tune in later this week because we will have Q&A from OBA, which Helena came up with last time, and we'll answer some of your guys' questions. So thank you so much for being here. This was such a nice chat with you.
Thank you, Sam.
Guys, we'll talk to you in just a bit. Hey guys, real quick before you go, I just wanted to touch base with you about the Working Actor Workshop. I have culminated about 1.5 years worth of coachings at online schools and coaching private clients, talking to people on the podcasts, my own life experiences, along with many of the actors I know. And I have created the Working Actor Workshop to combine all of the struggles and questions and fears of the beginnings of our career and hopefully squash as many of them as possible. I want to answer all of the questions about finances and side jobs. How do you find your branding? When do you look for reps? How do you even get your foot in the door? Should you be networking? What even is networking? I want to help you guys all navigate this landscape. These workshops are going on almost every Saturday in June, and they're almost half sold out at this point. So I highly recommend you guys check them out. onebrokeactress.com/workshops is where all the information lives. You can always email me, onebrokeactress@gmail.com, if you're not sure if this workshop is right for you. I don't think it's for everyone. I think it's for a certain time in your career, and I am super happy to guide you in as much of a way as I possibly can. Also, if you know someone that this is right for, maybe it's not right for you, but your sister is graduating college with a theater degree, or your cousin is getting excited to move to Los Angeles, I want to meet them. Please send them my way. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will talk to you very soon.